So it didn't start this way, though. You didn't have all these cars growing up. You had you come from very humble beginnings.
Sure.
I think to tell your story, we got to just start at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So the audience really just knows the come up story. So how did you get into the wheel and tire industry?
I guess backing up, giving a little more background, like I had to work for everything that I had. I was just joking with my brother yesterday. We were at this little popcorn shop downtown Wheaton that sells like penny candy. It still actually does have penny candy, even with inflation and everything. They have penny Tootsie Rolls. And I remember being 12 years old and lying on the application that I was 14 to be able to get a job there. It just showed that, like, I look at the age of my middle son and he's 12 and I'm like, God, I was that young, understanding that you needed to have money to be able to get things, because there was no money at home. Like there was nothing. Like I had to go, there would be field trips and I would have to show up without $5 with the permission slip, but no money. And the teacher would be like, oh, well, we'll make it happen somehow. And I don't know if they still charge for field trips at school, but I didn't get to do, like, there's a big Springfield trip. There's a big Washington, D.C. trip. Like, forget about all that stuff. You really learn the value of $1 early. And so I was extremely driven, tried to get that job at 12. They must have ran a Social Security check, and that didn't happen. Started working at age 13. There's some weird law in Illinois that allows you to be like a caddy at a golf club. And you don't even have to have, you're not on payroll. Like, you can receive cash, and there's some just odd caveat where that was okay. 14, 15, worked at McDonald's. 16 and on, for the most part, worked at Jewel, which is a local grocery store. And so, like, always had that drive, always had that entrepreneurial spirit. There were some other things that I started kind of in between, with radio installation, with bike repair, and just kind of used that drive to realize that there was a need for wheels and tires. So this was like 2003. I was in my second year of community college, and I just was looking for wheels online and realized that A, people were being successful at it, and B, like, I could probably go do this myself. So I found a way to get direct with the manufacturer. It took a little bit of finesse, and I was able to discover what the actual buying price of these wheels that I was looking at. I was looking at what they were selling on eBay. And this was like almost before drop shipping was a thing. So everything is about timing, right? So right now it's freaking impossible to get into drop shipping, even though YouTube will confuse people into thinking that everybody can be a drop shipper. It's like harder, it's so much harder now to be successful, because you're going up against guys like me that have been doing this for 20 years, that get the best price, that stock, that can ship faster. But yeah, I mean, I just started on eBay, drop shipping, selling wheels out of my mom's apartment. And I didn't have to have any money to start it. In the first week, I was receiving money from customers, going and buying the product, shipping it, and then keeping the leftover money. It was pretty sweet.
How'd you finesse them into believing that you were like a wholesaler or a dealer?
I called up and I said I was I'm just like, what's my price on these Eagle 077s? They're like, well, are you a shop? Actually, the guy I talked to, his name was Paul, and he said, hey man, are you a shop? That's just how he called me. I don't know. Later on, every time I'd call and check on a wheel, it would always be for $1. I'm like, Paul, we've been doing this for 2 years, bro. Stop doing that for $1 joke. Anyway, that's a story for another day. But the second time I called, because they wouldn't give me the pricing first, I'm like, hey, this is Steve from Wheaton Firestone. Could you give me a price on that Eagle 077? And then, like, without hesitation, they're like, yeah, it's $89 a wheel. I'm like, well, that was pretty easy to go get that price. And wow, there's money to be made. I need to go over there and get set up as soon as possible. And I just had this little business card for radio installation that I was doing. It was totally not a registered LLC or anything. I mean, I was 19 years old at the time, just doing it on the side. And they signed me up on just a business card. Like, nobody else would do that. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. But after like a week or so, they immediately needed proof that I was a business, because I'd already bought like 5 or 6 sets. They're like, this guy's not going to float under the radar. So, yeah. But I had the money, and I had that, like, at that point, I'm like, this works. Like, I'm going to figure out how to go get myself legal. And I was able to do that. So
nice. Wow. So were you like passionate about wheels, or you just saw money to be made and you were like, I'm going to just go all in on that because I can make the most money?
I think it's both. I liked wheels. I had these wheels already actually on my car, and what I was looking for was them in 18-inch. That's where the idea birthed. So it didn't come to me when I first bought wheels from them, which I happen to have bought from that Firestone, by the way. It was when I wanted to upgrade. So I was very into customizing my vehicle. And like, there's a joke about CD players where every like birthday and I've been with my wife since she was 15, I was 16. So she'd buy me a CD player for my car, and every 3 months I'd have a different piece of crap. And the joke was I'd put the CD player in, install it, and then sell the car, and like she'd have to get me a new CD player. And so always customizing with that. I've done engine swaps myself. Even the stupid stuff where you're just throwing stickers and making your car look special, but like always into wheels and automotive customization.